How was your day? We are Why Is That? And welcome you to our unconventional podcast series, which starts with why questions based on first principles thinking, aiming to provide you with multidimensional perspectives on various life issues and foster a truly vibrant spirit. However, this first episode of Why Is That? Doesn't begin with a why question, but I believe it will help both you and me answer quite a few questions to boost our confidence and our minds. Now, let's begin. The UOE, tired mnemonic for English vowels, words ending in e's with a final sound, or the osakam, opinion size age shape color origin material order for adjectives, which can be remembered with the sentence, Ang sao and sup kua ang map phi. Mr. Six eats crab soup, the fat Mr. Phi, a common Vietnamese mnemonic for adjective order. If you're an English learner, you're probably already familiar with these memory tricks. This is called the mnemonic method, a technique that uses words or images to help learners easily memorize and recall information. More specifically, a mnemonic can be a phrase, an image, a short song, or anything easy to remember and closely related or familiar to the new knowledge to be acquired, so that when the mnemonic is mentioned, the learner can quickly associate it with what they need to remember. One way to apply this mnemonic method when learning vocabulary is the method of loci, also known as the memory palace. This method uses a person's memory of familiar spaces, places, and locations to quickly and effectively recall information. In Latin, loci means places. Its origin dates back to Greek mythology, around 556 to 468 BC, when the Greek poet Simonides of Chios attended a banquet in a luxurious palace. During the party, someone called him outside, saving him from a collapse caused by an earthquake. Everyone at the banquet was crushed and unidentifiable. Simonides was the only one who could identify all the victims. He used his mind to visualize his journey around the dining table and pinpointed the location of each person sitting with their names. Thanks to this, he could identify all the bodies and help the victims' families recognize their loved ones for burial. It was thanks to Simonides' actions that the idea of a memory palace for storing and recalling information was conceived. When studying the effectiveness of the method of loci, Martin Dressler, a cognitive neuroscientist at Radboud University in the Netherlands, confirmed that memory techniques influence the brain, and the method of loci is one of the most important memory improvement techniques. Specifically, among 3 groups of volunteers participating in a vocabulary memorization experiment, their brains were initially similar. After 40 days, the third group, which applied the method of loci, showed the highest effectiveness. They doubled their memorization ability within 40 days. MRI scans detected blood flow and brain activity, revealing about 2,500 different connections, including 25 related to memory skills. Post-training scans showed that these connections had reorganized themselves to resemble those of memory champions, while the other groups did not. Neurologist Floris Delange at Umeå University, Sweden, also agrees that high memory ability is the result of training, not exceptional talent. So, how can we train using this memory palace method? Step 1: create your own memory palace and memory journey. Your memory palace can be your current home, your office, a street, buildings along a street, or even non-existent spaces that you can imagine, as long as you feel familiar with the location. Step 2: create a journey and follow it. In this step, you'll have a list of objects in your living room or any imagined room. Choose 10 objects in a fixed order, either clockwise or counterclockwise. Note, keep this order fixed, don't randomly change it as it will confuse your memory. The list will consist of 10 items as follows: 1 apple, 2 car, 3, Tokyo Tower, 4, udon noodles, 5, airplane, 6, Statue of Liberty, 7, hamburger, 8, baseball game, 9. Cactus, 10, eagle. Step 3: place the things you need to remember in your palace. Choose a memory landmark in the memory palace you established in Step 2, then associate it with the information you want to memorize. Step 4: link the things you need to remember to the memory journey you've chosen. And now, we come to the most exciting step where your rich imagination can truly shine. Let's practice together. Close your eyes, listen, and imagine. I walk into the living room. An apple is on the doorknob. Opening the door, I see a car-shaped rug. On the shoe rack, there's a statue of Tokyo Tower. I walk straight through the kitchen, where a hot bowl of udon noodles is on the table. The TV is showing an airplane flying past the Statue of Liberty. But I don't like noodles, so I open the fridge to look for food and find a half-eaten hamburger from yesterday. Closing the fridge, I see a poster of a baseball game. On top of the fridge, a cactus with white flowers blooms, and an eagle emblem rests on its pot. All right, let's pause for a moment. Try to recall the 10 vocabulary words above using this memory journey. You've memorized all 10 words, haven't you? If you didn't use this method, you might try to memorize the words in order, like 1 is an apple, 2 is a car, 3 is Tokyo Tower. However, this method would take a lot of time, and even if you did memorize them, they would be very easy to forget, especially if you had to remember many things. By associating images of the objects you need to remember, you can retain them longer. Our brains remember images and spatial environments better than written words and numbers. Taking advantage of this, the memory palace becomes an exciting memorization tool, not dry and mechanical like other repetition-based methods. It satisfies your rich imagination while helping you remember useful and important knowledge, doesn't it? You need to remember the journey within your memory palace in the correct order and review it regularly. The more you explore your memory palace, the easier it will be to recall its contents whenever you need to. You can even get to the point where you instantly remember the location of objects, just like you remember your own name. However, you also need to note that nothing is absolute. This learning method may suit some people, but not others. This method is most effective for those with visual spatial thinking, who can easily imagine, and who tend to absorb information visually, visual learners. And even though the effectiveness of this mnemonic method, or memory palace for vocabulary learning, has been scientifically proven, to maximize its effectiveness, learners should also combine it with other memory methods, such as spaced repetition or active recall, to proactively retrieve learned knowledge and thus optimize the brain's memory capacity. Goldfish brain is a phrase used to describe forgetful people who say something and then immediately forget it. The reason people use the image of a goldfish to describe this quick forgetting phenomenon is because, in ancient times, it was rumored that goldfish are creatures with short-term memory. All memories in a goldfish's brain only last for 3 seconds before disappearing. But listen, goldfish are not as forgetful as we think. Australian researchers have proven that the memory of goldfish can last for many weeks, months, or even years if an action is repeated. This misconception might stem from owners keeping fish in tanks, letting them swim monotonously with little interaction. So, goldfish aren't inherently forgetful. It's their environment and their own idleness that make their memory seem poor. It's the same for humans. A child's intelligence doesn't solely depend on genetics, nor does memory drastically decline with age. Memory doesn't naturally improve either. Within 5 minutes, Boris Konopka could memorize over 100 random dates and events. After 30 seconds, he could recite the order of an entire deck of cards. At the German Memory Championship in 2009, Konrad memorized 195 names and faces in 15 minutes, earning him a gold medal. When asked how it felt to be born with such a quick memorizing brain, he simply said he didn't know. "I was born with a normal memory and just trained it." In fact, his talent was acquired through practice, not innate. So you see, no one truly has a goldfish brain. It's more like a goldfish that hasn't learned how to use its brain yet.